Since 1912, when the tomato pie was first introduced in Trenton, there have been over 2,000 pizzerias opened right here in my home state of New Jersey. Yet you ask any New Jerseyan, including myself, and we'll tell you that there are only a handful of pizzerias in the Garden State that can successfully and deliciously capture a pizza their heart. Today, in this special on-the-road edition of TSR, bringing Hollywood home on a budget, we're going to highlight 3 of those pizzerias. 2 in Patterson, which is my hometown, and 1 right here, probably the most famous and American of them all, in Elmwood Park. Along the way, I'll be reviewing 3 pizza-related items, 2 cookbooks, and 1 Food Network magazine, so that the next time anyone, young or old, starts shouting incessantly and exuberantly, "Pizza! Pizza! Pizza!" you'll have all the tools and inspiration you need, all at a low price, so that in these cold weather months ahead, you can warm a pizza of anyone's soul. That's all coming up right now as we bring one of America's favorite foods home on a budget. Store Rundown. And our first stop is Center City Pizza at Center City Mall in Patterson. David's Veggie Slice, and it's loaded with green peppers and onions and olives on top of your standard cheese slice. We also have mushrooms on there too. And this is my Sicilian with extra cheese. Otherwise, without the extra cheese, it's just plain. I'm a purist at heart. David likes it a little bit more loaded than I do. Kind of like at Broadway Pizza, which we'll show you a little later on. And also on the Romero Roundup, David will be having a taste of Anthony's coal-fired pizza. Which reminds me, where did you go for coal-fired pizza?
Where?
Where?
There's one in the one we've been to was in Clifton, but there's also one in Wayne. The pizza's so perfecto. You may want to try it out. So
multiple locations all over the Garden State. But for right now, let's have a slice of that veggie pizza. Okay, so it's a little difficult to carry.
Yeah, I mean, it's all over the part. I'll just
How is it?
Not bad.
And now it's my turn. This is the extra cheese Sicilian. It's neatly constructed. Get a good start of that. And it's a little too hot for me. But here we go. Truth be told, this is actually the very first time I ever had pizza at Center City Pizza, and I thought it was quite good. I'll give you my real thoughts on the Sicilian with extra cheese a bit later on, but for now, let's go ahead and review the Pizza Gourmet, which I picked up for $1.99. This is the companion cookbook to the national PBS series from the late 80s, featuring Chef Carl Olszynski, aka the Pizza Gourmet. Coupled with the unique and tasty musings of writer Robert Arlett, America's favorite food, prepared by America's #1 pizza expert. Easy to prepare, fun to serve. Over 50 great recipes. 15 of those recipes, if you want to count the pizza blankets, are indeed pizza. So as you take a look at the table of contents here, you get 1 to 2 pizza recipes per chapter. There are 13 chapters. There are no pizza recipes in the final chapter, chapter 13. At the end here, you get a pizza paraphernalia ad if you want some of the equipment that Chef Carl Olszynski used on the Pizza Gourmet. Some of the equipment, if you didn't know, was actually sold at an estate sale.
Here he is now. Some of the items that he used to sell across the country. His videos are still available on YouTube, a lot of them. He wrote some books on pizza.
The introduction of this book lays out the origins of pizza, the right equipment needed for making pizza, as well as the proper methods for making homemade pizza dough and pasta dough. And why pasta dough? Because this book goes beyond pizza. We have traditional Italian delicacies like all different kinds of pasta and lasagna, just to name a couple. As far as the pizza goes, well, for the most part it's near strictly Italian, but there's also Greek pizza in here too. Plus, the pizza recipes in here aren't just for lunch or dinner. There are a couple of breakfast pizzas, like a Sunday morning delight pizza, and a breakfast pizza, which, aside from 5 large eggs, isn't really a breakfast pizza. If you want to call it that, you should add some breakfast sausage or bacon to the mix. As far as the photography goes here, well, it's not quite full in its size here. It's definitely full in quantity. It's uniquely laid out, but not that uniquely laid out. I mean, it's spread here and there, page by page, and it looks good. It definitely makes the recipes look that more delicious to eat. Retail price is $10.95. So, Pizza Gourmet lovers, we're going to make some wonderful pizza, as the Pizza Gourmet himself, the late, great Detroit native Carl Olszewski said, "Scene one, take one," across the national public television airwaves, in that, laid-back, understated suburban Detroit way of his. Yep, Carl hooked up with WYES-TV, New Orleans PBS. Those are the folks that brought you the great chefs in New Orleans, 1 and 2, and the great chefs in Chicago and San Francisco. Now, WYES is bringing you another great chef which you might not have heard of before, unless you were an ardent public television viewer, particularly in the lifestyle field during the late 80s. If that's the case, that will appeal to you. You see here, this is an Armenian pizza. It's also, sadly, a cookbook which may not be that practical, because some of the methods here might be a little too outdated for today's tastes, or tolerance for recipe assembly times. What makes up for that? Robert Arlett's instructions here. They go beyond step-by-step instructions, telling you to do this and do that at what time, the oven temperature, so on. There's actually some humor in the instructions, so Mr. Arlett makes it feel like you are having a conversation with the author. So there's the sound of Sicilian. And as you can tell, people have already dug into this. I thought it was very delicious. With a simple, good amount of cheese, even if you don't order the extra cheese. But if you do, please know that's an extra advantage. Good amount of sauce, neatly constructed, didn't fall apart like David's. You see a couple slices upgraded with pepperoni. I'm more of a purist. No toppings on mine, except for cheese. Extra cheese if needed. As far as pepperoni, ham, sausage, and other types of stuff, vegetables, well, one day. Anything except for pineapple, because really putting pineapple on a pizza is, that about makes as much sense as Judge Judy with a gavel.
Hello guys, we don't know. We're at Cantonese coal-fired I don't know. But look at this bar place right here. Alright, so far we got garlic bread, and I should have done that, but here's the pizza. Yummy. Oh, it's pizza time. There's more, boys. How's that? I'll take a coat. Let's go, I'm moving it here.
Alright, I'm good. You good? Alright, I'm good. You guys got those some pizza. Look at me.
His pizza slice was so loaded with peppers and onions, he has to get a fucking knife to finish off the toppings. Hey, it's not against the law to use a fucking knife to finish off the toppings on a loaded slice of pizza.
They do that in my country. They do that in Peru. Do you know that?
Ah.
They do that, yeah. I don't know.
Because you know what happens if you use a fucking knife for pizza in general?
What?
You get thrown in jail.
You use a fork for pizza, you should be put in jail.
Our next stop on the Speed Pot Pizza Tour is Pizza Town, USA, here in Elmwood Park. From first glance, it's the most patriotic pizza you'll ever look at and taste. American in its simplicity and beautiful in its patriotism. Hey, if Uncle Sam says it's America's favorite town, why wouldn't you want to dive into this? You'll recall earlier that I showed you a book that shows you how to make your own pizza with a side of nostalgia. But of course, pizza remains Jersey's ultimate takeout meal, so we decided to take out this issue of New Jersey Monthly to see if it rides. This was purchased for $1.49 and it was donated to the thrift shop by Mary Ann Torrey of Vernon, New Jersey. So we're most definitely keeping it local. This also marks the very first issue of New Jersey Monthly I ever reviewed for TSR. I was hesitant in purchasing it, but you know what? We don't showcase a lot of Jersey pride that often here, so I figured now would be the right time. And you know what? Anytime's the right time for pizza. With an estimated 2,000 pizzas in the state, no Jerseyan is ever far from a satisfying slice. Like these slices, for example. The Motor City Pie. It's an homage to Detroit's version of pizza from Low Fidelity in Jersey City. So what are we waiting for? Let's get to page 30 and find out the real deal behind Jersey pizza. On a table in the Asbury Park Sunside, rests 2 wood-fired pies from Porter, a Winter Betty with Brussels sprouts and a 14.5-inch with hop soppressata. Hungry for more? Turn the page to dig in. Oh, look at that. Even though I don't dig pepperoni a lot, I'm hungry. So we have here 56 great pies to try across the Garden State, North and South Jersey. Like for example, Bakeria 1010. Dark edges, crunchy and irresistible. They're a hallmark of Mike Fitch's baking in steel pans. Michael Fitch, by the way, can be featured in the Exit Ramp interview on the last page. He details his story going from the depths of drug abuse to the top of the toppings, having his own takeout pizzeria and, believe it or not, a healthcare building, Atlantic Care. We also have here Janino's. It's a plain, simple slice, uniting a trinity of sauce, cheese, and dough. Left and below here, handiwork with ladle, basil, and parmesan, preparing a classic margarita for the oven. Once again, another shot of a Detroit pizza, the Motor City Pie from Low Fidelity in Jersey City. We also have here slices from Luna with pesto and crumbled sausage, and Luna is in Nutley. We have masa, which will be featured on the next page, and that's in Scotch Plains. This blue section here highlights pizzerias that are all gluten-free, and that's Lindsay Bear's article. See here, gluten-free crust on the left, and above a cauliflower crust topped with mushrooms, as well as house-made ricotta and fontina. This is the restaurant, which I'm in right now, that's featured in this issue of New Jersey Monthly. And again, that's Pizza Town, USA in Elmwood Park. Pick up a slice, fold, and eat. It's simple, classic Jersey pie. Here's a slice from Porter. A touch of char adds stuff to a slice over here. And that is in Asbury Park. It's also in Jersey City. Finally, you have Vaza. Eating your greens is a pleasure when they complement a pizza as well as this thrown arugula does on an elemental crunchy square. And you'll find Vaza in Jersey City. The remaining 3 pizzas for this article can be found here on page 87. Tony D's in Caldwell, Luna Pizza Napolitana from the Atlantic Highlands, and Vic's in Bradley Beach. Alright, Uncle Sam. A couple of issues with Pizza Town, USA here in Elmwood Park, and why I won't be trying their pizza, at least for now. Number 1, no variations on the slices. No Sicilian, no margarita, none of that. Simple, classic slices with your choice of toppings and extra cheese. By the way, extra cheese applies to a whole pie, not to individual slices, 1 or 2. And for the most part, I'm not really fond of how their slices look. Way too much herbs. But hey, one day if you request that I do a taste test of Pizza Town slices, the next time I buy a pizza cookbook or magazine, I'll be glad to do it and give you a little shout out. I do wish this place continued success. It's been around for over 60 years, and as far as late night slices go, many folks will say that it's hard to beat Pizza Town, USA. For me, I might have to disagree for the moment. I'll wait until they change up their policies just a little bit more.
The pizza's great. I mean, people say what they want about the pizza, but I love it. It's nice, thin crust pizza. Right? Nice and thin, right, Joe? And a little cheesy. Definitely has a lot of tomato on it. It definitely has that boardwalk style pizza.
Seasoned well, too.
It has a lot of the oregano and the Italian seasoning on it.
For our final stop, we're back at Homebase in Patterson. And adjacent to the thrift store, which is where I do mostly all my thrift shopping, is Giovanni's Pizza, which is where I nearly do all of my pizza eating, because this is by far my favorite local pizzeria. Dare I say, it's the best local pizzeria in the tri-state area. Come inside. Now, we've already been here before, but I figure this place is worth showing again because, well, if I want authentic and lifestyle pizzeria, these are the boys that make it happen nearly every day.
Next. Yes.
And this is my favorite to get. Again, just plain and simple, extra cheese. Cool thing about this pizzeria is that they have a dining room in here and window side seating. In my opinion, that's a great view to enjoy a great New York style pizza in Patterson if I can get this off the plate with one hand. It rarely ever fails. Now I'm bringing it back literally full circle pie. If you want to make real deal pizza at home, the May 2021 issue of Food Network Magazine gives you a homemade pizza handbook to follow. In addition to cupcakes, meringues, and more, better than ever stuffed peppers, the star's favorite family recipes, specifically Mother's Day recipes that these stars inherited from their moms and or grandmas. All this in addition to 19 new easy dinners. Chock full in one magazine, which I paid nothing for. This was a part of my 2020-2021 subscription to Food Net Mag from Donna and Ellie, the fellow boss of TSR. Before we get to the pizza handbook, however, I want to highlight somebody who's made the rounds on TSR before. and that would be Relis's founder and boss babe, Catherine McCord. This is her Star Kitchen tour. She's a contributor to the Food Network Kitchens app, and this is her tour with notes to follow so you get a better idea of the equipment that she likes as well as the scenery for when she does what she does at Food Network Kitchens. I've highlighted one of her 2 Relis's books. That would be Relis's Lunches. If only she could refine high school lunches, because Lord knows refinement, better yet reform, is sorely needed in the kitchens of International High School. Thanks a lot Outside Food Vendors, thanks a lot CBS 2, Pix 11, and Inside Edition. I got a remedy for this in the future. But for now, let's show you the homemade pizza handbook. Here's everything you need to make your own perfect pies. We start with the dough because you know the foundation to any delicious pizza is all in the dough. This is a recipe for all-purpose pizza dough, along with recommendations for their tools of the trade. Stock up on some pizza making gear. Here's what the pros recommend. And recommendations for some awesome ovens, big and small. The smallest one, by the way, being the most expensive. That would be the Breville Pizzerias, and that would be $1,000 on WilliamSonoma.com. From this all-purpose pizza dough, you get 4 recipes in here. Sheet pan pizza, New York style, thin crust, and deep dish. With instructions for prep, forming, topping, and baking. This almost goes down to an anatomy of the slice. What makes a great individual slice of pizza? Then, 4 test kitchen chefs deliver their own personal pies. Hawaiian-style sheet pan pizza from recipe developer Khalil Highmore. Thin crust pizza with roasted vegetables and ricotta from Melissa Gammon, who is one of the recipe developers. Test kitchen director Steve Jackson's deep dish with spicy sausage and olives. And Jessica D'Ambrosio's New York style with clams and broccoli rabe. Concluding this special section, tips from the pros on how to streamline your pizza prep and enjoyment. One of those pros being Frank Piniello, who is the host of Munchie's The Pizza Show on the Munchie's YouTube channel, so aptly named with such a deliciously hard impact. Finally, a pizza IQ quiz. Mostly multiple choice questions to find out how well you know your pies. A maximum score of 10 points to be awarded, in which you would gain the upper crust grade. So that's the pizza handbook. I mean, there really isn't much more to show for this review other than a guide to egg-themed restaurants across the country and eggs across America. Again, Mother's Day recipes from some of the stars. And being that this has a special egg section in here, a star recipe on how to make your own quiche Lorraine. Oh my. I think I just stripped the bottom of the page here. Look at this. Doing this with one hand is definitely not the ideal way to go. But you know what? None the worse for wear. And I still do recommend this issue of Food Network magazine because really, they rarely fail me. And when I say star recipe for anatomy of a quiche, the quiche Lorraine here, I mean the unsung heroes of Food Network, the stars behind the stars, the test kitchen and magazine recipe testers and developers. They make this issue shine. Shine as much as the pepperoni and the cheese glistening on top of a proper homemade or takeout pizza.
Welcome to Star Tavern, serving the finest thin crust pizza in North Jersey, featuring a full traditional menu, fun family atmosphere, and a great social gathering place. Located just off Route 280 in Orange, New Jersey, Star Tavern has been serving family and friends for over 50 years. Please come and join us the next time you're out for good food and good times.
Now it's time we fold all this up. A maximum score of 15 crabs can be awarded, with 5 crabs per each item, as is the standard at TSR. So, the Pizza Gourmet and Food Network Magazine and New Jersey Monthly, they all get the same rating, and that's 4.5 out of 5 crabs. And you want to know why? Because the Pizza Gourmet is somewhat outdated, therefore rendering it a little bit unpractical. Food Network Magazine, well, this was due to my slight carelessness. And New Jersey Monthly, some of the pizza places featured in here might be a little too expensive or far from where you live, but hey, they should be worth your time, they should be worth the money, and they should be worth the drive if you ever do decide to hunt down some of these places. For an updated list from New Jersey Monthly's website, I'll have a link in the description below, but in total, all 3 of these items earn 14.5 out of 15 claps. No matter which way you slice it, everyone can agree that pizza is one of the main principles of proper Garden State living. Just ask any Jersey boy or girl, whether it be your son named Skylar or your crush named Tyler. I hope that these items here will prove more than amore when the craving hits, no matter if the moon or the sun hits the sky. Thanks for watching as we dig and dish on the slices of Jersey life. I'll catch you on the flip side.
This is PBS.